Hi, what's good, YouTube? What's good, YouTube? I was doing some research today. I was looking over some historical data. I was looking at the markets, and I didn't happen, I came to a resource, a tool that I use to track market sentiment. And I'm pretty sure if you're kind of an intermediate to advanced investor, I'm pretty sure you've heard of the Fear and Greed Index before. But if you're new to investing, you're new to the markets, you may not have heard about Fear and Greed Index. You may not even know what market sentiment is. So, what CNN has done, they've created this Fear and Greed Index. This is what it looks like. They've created this Fear and Greed Index that pretty much is their scoring system from 0 to 100. They come up with a score based on seven metrics, and for them to determine, do we have a market that's in extreme fear, neutral, greed, or extreme greed? And what that is they're basing this fear and greed index off of the two emotions that pretty much drive the stock market: fear and greed. When there's fear, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. You have a lot of people selling, panic selling, and the market's just crazy. When you have too much greed, extreme greed, kind of the same thing. The market's going crazy. It seems like no matter what you touch, it's red hot. It's making money, and that can be dangerous because people start making bad decisions. They start buying bad investments. You get into bubbles, and then that's when you get into market crashes. So it's too far in spectrums. You don't necessarily want to be in extreme fear, and you don't necessarily want to be in extreme greed either. When you get to either one of those far ends of the spectrum, it can get bad. It can get bad. So essentially what they've done is they've come up with a scoring system based off of a few metrics, and that's how they come up with this gauge to tell us, their sentiment on the markets. Do they whatever they think we're in, right? As you can see right now, they think we're in a fear market. We've had some catalysts like the 10-year treasury yield ticking up towards 5%. That's been a catalyst that has sent the stock market down a little bit. We've had the Fed. I think they had their meeting on December 18th, and they announced that we may not get as many rate cuts as we like in 2025. So that has also been another catalyst for the stock market trending down a little bit. I did a video a minute ago talking about earnings reports. We are in earnings season, so hopefully we can get some good earnings, and that can turn things around. But for now, especially year to date, the stock market has been trending down. The S&P 500 has been trending down. A lot of our favorite stocks have been trending down. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. And another thing, I've been using this fear and greed index for a while, but I never knew the scoring system, how they went about coming up with this score. It's probably being lazy, didn't do my due diligence to actually see how are they scoring this? How are they coming up with, this score to determine on if we're in extreme fear, neutral greed, extreme greed. How they, I just take it for face value. But another thing is, this is the end all be all. I don't look at this and say, okay, this is the end all be all. But this is a good resource to have. It's a good resource to have, and definitely, by the time we get to the end of this video, you will know a lot more about how they come to get to this gauge, and how they come to say, okay, we're in extreme fear, we're in fear, whatever it is. Once we get through all the metrics, you'll kind of see, okay, now I see what they're saying. It's making more sense now. And I should have done that years ago, but I just did it today, and I thought it would be a great video to share with you guys because I think it's useful information. And don't be like me. You have the information, early on in your investing career, in your investing journey, if you're just starting out. So let's get to it. The previous close, as you can see, the score 26. We are in fear mode. Market's been dropping. A month ago, we were neutral. A month ago, we were neutral. Before mid December, things were looking good. Things were looking good. We were hitting all new all time highs, and the market was good. Then we had that good old Fed meeting. And then that's when things start taking a turn. That's when things start taking a turn. A week ago, we're still in fear. A year ago, we had a score 73, which was great. 2024, we had a great year. We had a great year. We had a lot of stocks go crazy. We had Nvidia go crazy, Palantir go crazy, Broadcom go crazy. We had a lot of stocks have a really good year. We had a lot of stocks have really good years. And that's probably why you see that reflecting in that score. So when you're talking about market momentum, this is what they have. This blue line right here, this trending, is the S&P 500, which is essentially If you're new to investing, the S&P 500 is an index that tracks the top 500 companies in the United States by market cap. So this pretty much essentially is the stock market. This is the stock market, essentially. This is a stock market, and this 125-day moving average is what the S&P 500 closed at. It's an average of what the S&P 500 closed at over the last 125 trading days. So to get that, they took the closing price of the S&P 500 for the last 125 trading days, and then they divide that by 125, and that's how you get this line. So when you see this S&P 500 trend line trending above this 125-day moving average, that's basically representing an uptrend. If you were to see this trend line start to dip below this 125-day moving average, that would be a downtrend. But I'm assuming you see we dipped below it a little bit going, looks like in July, August, we dipped a little bit below it. And that was in 2024 around August 5th, I think it was. There were some recession talks and all that kind of stuff. So that may have been why you've seen this trade below this 125-day moving average right here. But I'm assuming that since looking at this, because we're still above the 125-day moving average, but we're getting a lot closer to it than we were kind of up in here. So I'm assuming that because it's getting closer to the 125-day moving average, that's why they have us that's why they're scoring it as extreme fear. So that's what it's looking like for that one. You come down here to stock price strength. Okay, so this trend line, they're taking 52-week highs versus 52-week lows. So when you have more stocks in the stock market in the S&P 500 hitting 52-week highs, you'll see this trend line up here. When you have more stocks in the S&P 500 hitting 52-week lows, you'll see it trading down here where we are currently. That's well below the zero line. That's not good. So that's why you see they have this scored as extreme fear. Then you come down to stock price breadth. When you see this trend line up here, up in that 160, up going towards 1800 range, that's good market breadth. It's a strong market. When you see this trend line start to come down in this 800, 600 range, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. We have a weak market. There's some uncertainty, and that's where we are now. That's where we are now down here. And that's why they have us under extreme fear. Then you come down to putting call options, and this metric is gauging the ratio the last 5 days puts to calls. If you're not familiar with puts and calls, they're talking about options. A call is an option to buy, a put is an option to sell. So this is gauging at the last 5 day average of puts to calls in the options trading market. When you see this trend line start to go up higher towards the one, that means the ratio of puts to calls, there's starting to be more puts in the market. So more people are betting that the market is going to go down. More people are turning bearish. More people are turning bearish. That's what this is indicating. So when you see this trend line going up, that means there's more puts than calls. There's more puts than calls. More puts than calls. And you see we're starting to tick up. We're starting to tick up towards that point 80. So that's why they have us in extreme fear right here. Come down here to market volatility. Market volatility. This blue line is the VIX, which I have a video coming out about. So I'm not going to talk too much about it today. But the VIX is another indicator that you can use to kind of track volatility in the stock market. Volatility in the stock market, and the VIX kind of moves inverse with the stock market. So we'll get into a little bit of that later, but this is a 50-day moving average, kind of the same as that 125-day moving average, but that 125-day moving average is more of like the last 6 months. This 50-day moving average is a shorter time span, 30 days. That's about almost 2 months. And like I said, the same as before. S&P 500, what it closed there for the last 50 days, about 50, you get that average. And as you can see, the VIX volatility of the stock market, we've been above the 50-day moving average. We're below, above, below, above. So, they have that scored as neutral. They have that scored as neutral. And then safe haven demand. Safe haven demand is the difference in 20-day stock and bond returns. So, what is that? Well, when you have a lot of uncertainty in the markets, when you have the stock market starting to fall, you may have investors go over into bonds, you know, because it's a little safer. So when you have the stocks outperforming bonds, you're going to have this trend line up here. When you have bonds starting to outperform stocks, you'll see us start to go below this zero line right here. We have indeed dipped below that. We dipped below it back here, like I told you on August 5th, when there were recession talks and all that stuff. And then we're starting to get back below that line right here. So that's why they have that in extreme fear. And then you come down here to junk bond demand. I'm not going to lie. I did not know anything about junk bonds. I didn't know anything about junk bonds, but I learned. Apparently, when the junk bond margins are higher, matter of fact, let me just read so I don't even tell y'all nothing wrong. When the spread between yields on junk bonds is higher, that indicates fear in the markets. When you have a narrower spread, that indicates greed. So again, a narrower spread indicates greed, and a wider spread reflects fear. So I'm assuming if we're following this percentage gauge over here, this is a narrower spread. So the narrower spread 1.5, which I'm assuming is indicating greed, which I told you. Um, but greed isn't really that bad. Greed isn't really that bad. I don't think that as you can see, they have it under greed. They have it under greed. And once I'm about to get into how they weight, how these metrics are weighted. This is the smallest weighted metric that they use. I think it's only 5% of the score. So the market, this isn't really indicating fear or extreme fear. This is indicating, a greedy market. So let's come back up here and okay, now I'm gonna get into how these metrics are weighted. How the metrics are weighted. So remember the first metric was stock price momentum. Stock price momentum, this is 25% of the score. This is 25% of the score. Then we come down to stock price strength. This is another 25% of the score. Then we come down to stock price breadth. This is another 25% of the score. Then we come down to put and call options. This is 10% of the score. Then we come down to market volatility. This is another 10% of the score. And then we come down to the safe haven demand. That's only five. No, safe haven demand is another 10% of the score. And then junk bond demand is only 5% of the score. So that's how they come up with this number here. That's how they come up with this number here. And when it comes to CNN, what do they consider these different gauges right here? Extreme fear, fear, neutral, greed, extreme greed. What do they determine these things to mean? So when you're in this 0 to 25, this extreme fear, CNN is saying that indicates potential undervaluation and panic driven selling. That's never good. We don't do panic driven selling. We don't do panic driven selling, because we do our research and we invest in companies that we believe in. And for me, there are several companies that I believe in, like AMD currently, that have been falling lower and lower, and I've been buying more and more. So when you're investing in good companies, you know, I see it. I see a lot of these moments as buying opportunities. This is when, for me at least, when I buy and then I'm able to make, good return when we start to get back up into this neutral and greed mode. So that's what extreme fear is indicating. That's what extreme fear is indicating: potential undervaluation and panic driven selling. When you get into this fear, this 26 to 50 range, this is indicating caution in the market, potentially indicating buying opportunities. So this is where we currently are. We're not out of hand. The market isn't falling through the sky, but we are indeed in a little downtrend. There are the prices of some of our favorite stocks. are falling. 10%, you make 3% here, 4% there. And like I said, they said it could indicate a buying opportunities. And indeed, I've been buying a lot of stocks in this fear mode. While we're in this 25 to 50 range, I have indeed been buying a lot of my favorite stocks. So I agree with that. Once we get into neutral, that's pretty much a balanced market, stable market. You have some things going up, you may have some things going down, but nothing's going too crazy. When you get in the greed, that 51 to 75 range, that's optimism in the market, often leading to overvaluation. And that's where they had us last year. That's where they had us last year. And we've seen that with some of the stocks. They said a stock like Palantir could have been overvalued, when we were in the greed mode. So that's what they're meaning there. When you get into that extreme greed, this 76 to 100 range, that is indicating high risk of market correction due to speculative behavior. Like I said, when you get in that extreme greed, it remind me of crypto. Remind me of crypto when crypto is running up. When you get in that extreme greed, it seems like no matter what you invest in, everything is red hot. You're making money. You're throwing money here. You're throwing money there. Everything's going crazy. So you seem like I could just throw money here. I could throw money there. You're not relying on fundamentals no more. It's just emotion. It's just emotion, and everything's running up, and you're just spinning. So it's not good to be in extreme greed or extreme fear. We like to be in neutral. I ain't gonna say. I can't even say that. We like to be, we like to see greed because we like to see appreciation on our investments. We like to see neutral as well, but we also like to see some fear. We also like to see some fear because we want those buying opportunities. We want to be able to get good companies on discount. We want to be able to get good companies on discount. But that is essentially what CNN's Fear and Greed Index is. That's the gist of it. I wanted to let you guys know about that so you can add that to your toolbox, add that to your resources that you can pull from to kind of see what's market sentiment. What's market sentiment right now? If you're seeing the market drop and you're like, man, like, what's going on? Like, let me go look at the fear and greed. Let me go look at the fear and greed index. Okay, we in fear. We in fear. I'm not tripping. I've been seeing stocks fall, and CNN is agreeing with me. The fear and greed index is agreeing with me. And yeah, it'll also be a good metric if you see some stocks falling and you're new to investing and you're not used to knowing, okay, it's 10%. Is that too much? 20, 30, 40. You're seeing some stocks falling. You're like, man, should I be buying right now or should I wait? Is it falling too much? Am I catching a falling knife? If you see some things in that extreme fear, you might want to wait a little bit. You might not want to buy it if it's just falling like crazy, unless you have an extreme risk for an extreme appetite for risk, and you just believe in that company no matter what. But in this fear range, man, like I said, man, I like to do a lot of buying. I do a lot of buying in this fear range. Me personally, I do a lot of buying, and when we start getting to that back into that neutral and greed, that's when we get to start seeing some appreciation. When you buy back here and that thing get to getting back up in here, you seeing some money. You seeing some gains if you're in those good companies. But that's what the Fear and Greed Index is. I don't want to hold y'all up too long. If you got value from this video, please like, subscribe. That's how I grow. That's how I reach more investors. That's how I'm able to spread this information, this knowledge when it comes to investing. Thank you guys for tapping in with me. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.